if you can share, what is a nightmare job or horror story of a client that you've worked with?
Well,
if you can share.
Oh yeah, no, I could definitely share this one.
All right, hey guys, welcome to, I think I'm going to call it Blank Canvas. I'm not sure. My name is Canvas Cam. I think I'm yelling into this thing. I don't have to yell.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we're starting off somewhere. Anyway, my name is Cam, Canvas Cam from Canvas Design Company. Like I said, this is a blank canvas. It's up for interpretation. I don't know if I'm going to settle on that. So what I'm doing, I'll start this off. At the end of the video, I'm going to do a giveaway of a Canvas t-shirt. I'll tell more about that at the end of the video. So wait until the end of the video. Today I've got Brad Gentry of Gentry Design Company. Are you still going by that?
Not really.
Not really?
We got a new thing down the pipe.
New thing down the pipe. All right. So we'll talk about that as time goes on. Dude, what's going on in your life right now?
Well, I'm about to make the transition of being employed to self-employed.
Good.
Starting a new business. Starting to get some clients lined up.
There you go.
That's pretty much it. Been working really hard putting together this business.
There you go. You and Michaela ironing some things out.
Yep.
So Brad is a fellow graphic designer. We bounce ideas off each other way back when, and I think in me discovering myself as a graphic designer and having a friend has definitely helped me to push myself to be where I am today. Starting Canvas Design Company, transitioning it from a clothing brand to full design company. He's had a few different things that I've kind of modeled it off of over the years. Shuffling two things is really, really hard, and I think he was the first one to kind of mend it all into one and made me realize that I can do that too. So he had Prismagic. Tell me a little bit more about Prismagic.
Prismagic was this idea I had where it was just pretty much everything I was doing under one umbrella. The idea was, band merch, whatever design work I could get, the works. I was even getting into video editing there for a second. Even I was going to actually publish a comic book under that as well. Nice. I actually plan on in the future to publish it under that name. But that's something I'm putting on the back burner. For sure. That's one of my pet projects I've been working on for a long time.
There you go. Cool, man. Well, let's get some questions. This is the very first episode of this, so I'm just kind of like seeing how it all works. So I've got my trusty iPad right here. So we went over what's going on in your life, starting a new business. What got you into graphic design and art in general? Tell me a little about
Well, I've been drawing since I was a kid. I guess my parents told me I was drawing crap the second I picked up a pencil. So just going through life, as a kid, I thought I would be on the track for being like a comic book artist. And then when I got to high school, I kind of realized that that's very hard also. I started getting an interest in graphic design. So started working towards a graphic design career at a young age. I didn't actually get into the industry until I was about 22 when I got into the print industry. For sure. And then maybe a year or two later after that, I was actually a graphic designer for a company.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we don't really know what we're going to do until the first few years of kind of discovering that. Because when I turned 18 and I started canvas wear, I just wanted to have a clothing company, and I wanted that ego boost of saying I own a clothing company.
Yeah.
And over the years, you kind of just discover, because I started learning graphic design in high school, and I didn't know that I wanted to be a graphic designer. I knew that my dad was pushing me to do it, but I didn't know what it was like to call yourself a graphic designer. And so then I started discovering more about layouts of t-shirts and this and that, and then I didn't really start taking it seriously until I landed my day job, and then it was game over. Now I have so much to learn. What was that experience for you, kind of stepping into knowing what it's like to be an established graphic designer, and what led you to be there?
Well, I think what led me there was when I was a kid, I pirated Photoshop, and then I think I was 12.
Corel Draw?
I never even messed with
Really?
Corel. No, I started with Photoshop, and then I found out about vectors when I was around 17 or 18.
Okay.
But I kind of realized that I knew I wanted to be an artist for a living, because I knew any other job was just, I wasn't going to go anywhere with. I wasn't going to be happy with it. I wasn't going to feel like I was accomplishing or getting better at anything. Yeah. So I always just pushed for graphic design being the general idea of going after. And even as a graphic designer, you have the capability of doing so much within that field. Like, you could do so many cool things. So yeah, that's always been the goal, and I mean, I'm there. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to take it up the next notch where I'm running a successful business, and it's my own thing, and I get to pick and choose my clients instead of just trying to find whoever. Yeah. So
I think the biggest thing for me when I started being able to pick and choose my clients was being able to say no to 100 and price myself out for more than for what I'm worth.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, is like, and when I actually started taking this seriously, and I was finally pushed to get the business license and start tracking everything, and paying like taxes. I pay taxes quarterly now, and that's such a weird dynamic for me. I did my best to stop operating out of fear, and I know a lot of people who also do that. Did you ever run into did you ever run into fear with any different projects that you were working on?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes like you feel like the client you present something to the client, and then they had something else in mind in their head. Even though they gave you as much detail as possible, it still didn't fit what they wanted. And sometimes that works either way. I mean, some may be like, oh my God, that's way better than I imagined. And some are just like, picky and stuff, and that could be rough. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't please everybody. So that's why I like the idea of being able to pick and choose my clients, because I'd like to work with people that like my work, and that because generally when you're finding new clients, they don't know any other designers, and if you don't know them personally, then they're trying you out, and there's a chance that maybe you just can't give them the kind of stuff that they want. Whether it's really good, even if you're giving them something really good by your standards, it may not be good by their standards. So
I'm running into a problem right now with a client. It's like, she hired me for my work, and if you're watching, hi, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm working with a client right now, and it's like, she hired me for this one job, and based off of another job that I did previously. And we keep on coming up with concepts, and my biggest problem with her, she loves my work, and I'm doing the work that she has hired me to do, but she keeps running different ideas by me. And the biggest thing is like, okay, you have to be completely honest with me when talking these designs, and transparency is key. And right now I find myself having trouble, and this is what separates me from being an amateur, is going like, all right, so I can do this change up, but I'm going to charge you more. If it was like 2 years ago, I would be like tiptoey around the idea of charging more. Do you ever come to that like?
I used to, and I used to be very very nice, and just do changes for people, and I would lost my train of thought. I would trick myself into thinking, oh, maybe I didn't do it right the first time, so they shouldn't have to pay for it. But at the end of the day, they're paying for your time, and you're a professional, so whether you missed it or not, I mean, you're still doing the work. So
definitely,
I mean, and like you were saying earlier, like letting clients know to be upfront and tell you if they don't like it. I mean, that's really important for them and for you, because you don't want to waste each other's time. I mean, I just got a client, and I met him for the first time, and I was telling him the same thing, like, hey, don't tell me anything. If you think it's bad, you need to let me know as soon as possible. Don't let me get off track too far until it gets to a point where I put a bunch of hours into this and you say it's bad.
I just had to charge like $300 more. Because it was like, hey, we wasted some time here. And it's like, and I had to say, you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't like it. My job is to come out with different concepts and this and that. Sometimes I don't like the concepts, but you like it, so that's all that matters. But we I presented a concept to her, and she liked it, and we went forward with it. And now we're going the complete opposite direction. And I was just like, hey, I'm going to have to charge you this much because we just wasted our time. And I had I didn't give her like an ultimatum or anything, but I was just like, hey, you know, when you're not honest with me, we lose time.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I don't like charging more. I would much rather have this job done. But because, you know, transparency wasn't there between us, you know, we're kind of friends right now. We're going to be talking a lot about this design, the structure of it, you know, the fonts, the colors, all this stuff. It's not just, you know, I'm scribbling on a piece of paper. So, yeah, and I like what Chris Do says. I don't know, do you follow, like, the future of Chris Do? Chris Do is, like, the design master. You know, he prices stuff out, and he has a lot of strategy. So he put out something the other day. It was like a post about being an amateur versus a professional, and he was just like, when you can strongly know your worth and you can say the hard stuff easily, that's when you know you become like the master of your trade. And that hit me at home because I was like, man, my whole design business model has changed so much in the last year. So it's like, it blows my mind. A year and a half ago I was charging less than $100 for logo work. Now I'm charging, like, not to brag or anything, but I'm charging like $800 to $1,000 for logo work now, and it's just because I'm confident enough in my work now. And it's just it's crazy. It blows my mind that a trade like what we do, you know, we're able to, you know, own our craft in that way. You know?
Well, that's not to say, like, when you're first starting out and you're starting to, you know, get your feet wet in the professional world, there's nothing wrong with undercharging. I mean, if you know where you're at in your skills, 100%. Definitely charge what you're worth. But if you've put your time in and you've gotten your clients and you've gotten better, definitely charge what you're worth, and you know, that makes your business even better. 100%. Like, it makes you more and more successful.
All right, so if you can share, what is a nightmare job or horror story of a client that you've worked with?
Well,
if you can share.
Oh yeah, no, I could definitely share this one.
Because you never know who's going to be watching these things.
Yeah,
with 100,000 subscribers, not.
Yeah. Well, you get, like, this relates to back, like, you know, feeling. Actually, no, cut all this out. Basically, this dude, I mean, we both, and we all as designers have these people that you knew, and they find out you're a designer, so they come to you with stuff. They want deals. And some of them even have ideas that they will not budge on. And this particular one, I had done some work for him before, and he paid me what I was charging at the time. But he was just one of those dudes that just could never get a hold of. When it came time to payment, I literally had to, like, call him multiple times, or even, like, because me and my brother know him, I even had to tell my brother, like, hey, this guy's, like, not paying me.
I remember you telling me that.
And he contacted me for a job, and he wanted me to make these stickers for him. And I was curious about this, so I Googled the image, and it turns out the picture was a copyrighted image. It was like a stock image, but it was definitely copyrighted. And I told him straight up, like, hey, I can't do this. Can't work with this. And he's like, oh no, dude, it's cool. Like, we just found out that it's not copyrighted anymore, so it's free to use. I'm like, well, it says here online that you have to buy it, so I can't work with this stuff. Turns out later that he got hit with a copyright infringement, and it was like $400. And I straight up told him, because I was offering to make him like a logo for his company and everything, and he just wanted to stick with this clip art, and I was just like, you're making the wrong move. And this is like part of why we're so valuable is because we know we can identify if something is copyrighted. 100%. We could identify if we've seen things before. We have a visual mind, so if we see a logo and if it's familiar, we want to double check.
Because in our brains, all we do every single day, whether we like it or not, is looking at logos and advertising and doing all that stuff, and we break shit down. And it's like, if we see we've seen a million logos, and if we see something remotely familiar, we Google it just as easy as you found it. So going back to the not budging thing, I worked with a friend, and he asked me if I could do a logo for him, and he was like, I'll pay you $75. And I was like, okay. And I like this guy.
So how easy is it?
So I came back to him with, I'll do it for $100, and it's going to be super simple. What's your idea? And he hit me with this idea, and I did it. And he comes back about a week later after not hearing from him for a while, for like a week or two. And he goes, hey, the boys in the band didn't like the idea. And I'm like, you gave me the idea. And so then, and if you can break this down, friend, if you're watching or listening, his wife had something for me. And it was just so bad. But I had to make it work, and I ironed it out. It was $100 worth that I spent 2 hours longer than I wanted to. It was bad.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, back then, like, you know, I say back then, but I'm talking about like a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I used to just have those kinds of problems and just, you know, just push through them and get them over with. Hopefully they come back with you with more work. But now it's like, my time is valuable.
Yeah.
Not only do I have a full-time job currently, and I'm also trying to start a business, and I have a girlfriend, I have like a life, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to spend...
Copy paste, that's me right now too.
Exactly. It's like I don't have time to spend, you know, getting paid crap when I can, you know, do whatever.
I feel that. The biggest thing is when people don't take what we do seriously, and they think that we can just shit it out on paper, and, you know, like, it's done.
They think that.
It's not a big deal.
They think that, and then when we say no to whatever price they're offering, they find out quickly that whoever's cheaper is cheaper. Yeah. So there's a reason.
Yeah, I had some dude hit me up, and he wanted this illustration work done for it, and he's like a rapper, and he was like, oh, dude, I found out you do graphic design. Yo, I want something like this.
I think I remember this.
And I was just like, all right, cool, yeah, I can do that. $200. Because illustration work for me is like super simple. All I got to do is put in Procreate, draw something, vectorize it. I mean, $200 is well worth it. 4 hours of work, you know, 50 an hour. And, you know, it's like, I could have got done, but he was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that much. Like, I have a homie that can do it for me. I was like, then why'd you come to me?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a shit. And what you'll learn if you're watching and you're not a graphic designer, internally, we talk shit about people who do not bear with what we do, or complain about what we do. Just and a little insight. So this
and it goes both ways. There are some designers that are assholes.
Yes, but it's like, so yeah, this guy, and I just told him, I was like, then why didn't you came to me? I was like, that's my price, and, you know, hey, here's my website. You know, you probably just looked at the first 3 tiles of my Instagram, and we're like, oh shit, this guy can do this. $50. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, what is your hardest design today?
My hardest design today.
Like, what design made you take a step back, and you were like, shit, this one's hard, man.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I don't
even have that question.
Yeah. I had a lot. I think I can't really say one particular one, but I think the ones that are most difficult are the illustration ones. And it's not because it's just like difficult. It's because I make it difficult. Yeah. And I'm really I'm self-criticizing, and I'm like wanting to do the coolest drawing, the best I could do. Yeah. And sometimes when you draw by hand, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I'll sit down, I'll draw the thing I want to draw, and I'm like, that's okay. And then I'll draw it again. I'll be like, oh, that's a little better. And then I'll draw it again and be like, I don't like that. And I'll just kind of pick whichever one I think looks best. Yeah. And then I'll present that to the client. But usually it ends up being those jobs just because of the process. It's like, you know, if you're doing a logo job, you may do a doodle of the logo and then do the rest of it as vectorizing, and that's just, you know, chilling. Yeah. When you're doing illustration, it's sketching, finding the right sketch, inking, then bringing it to digital and doing all the fine tuning with the lines, and then bringing in color, which is a whole nother monster. Yeah. So I would say just generally illustration work is the most hardest, but that's also like one of those things I try and specialize in because I've always hand drawn. So
illustration work has always been like the most difficult thing for me too, only because I was comparing myself to other artists who were doing illustration work. My friend Barrett, and I rave about him because he's so good at what he does, at Barrett Colvin on Instagram, but he's so good at what he does, and I think for the longest time I was always comparing myself to him, therefore I was hard on my illustration work. And then just about a year ago, especially having the iPad Pro, I cracked the code with illustration work that was so frustrating for me. And layers were the biggest thing for me, because I would always try to figure out how he was blending colors in and doing all this stuff. But I had a very, like, even with the Monoprice tablet that I sold you a few years ago, or like last year, you know, layers were the thing that I was missing with that. And I think Procreate is such a simple enough platform for me to like actually learn. I started pumping out illustration work for like t-shirts and this and that, and it was like I said, I cracked a code to it. I'm still hard on myself, but at the same time, like, I realized that I'm doing, like you said it, I'm making it harder than it has to be in essence, and I'm being too hard on myself. And then honestly, it's like with more sketching and, you know, being able to erase and just write on top of it, it made it a lot easier for me to get past that hump to where I actually could have a good, you know, final result to something. I did that wrestling t-shirt a few weeks ago with like all the skulls and stuff like that. And something like that would have been so hard for me about a year and a half ago, but then it was just like cake the other day. So,
yeah, I've been seeing people use these iPads and Procreate and stuff, and it's making me want to get one.
Dude, it changed. Like, a year ago, I wasn't the graphic designer that I am today, definitely. And being able to draw straight on the screen like this and use Procreate, and then, you know, also a lot of research and stuff. I don't give it all to this, but it's also, you know, a lot of research and, you know, learning, reading a lot of books and stuff. But Procreate, man, has made my life so much easier with building logos and, you know, illustration work, getting to color it on here and then translate it. The biggest thing was being able to do it in Procreate, but also importing those files into Photoshop and still being able to use those layers. That was huge.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. You know, you can still use the Procreate layers and they just translate exactly the same way into Photoshop. It was just, I manipulate those things, and so it's been great. Okay, so tell me more about your new business, your and Michaela's new business, the vision that you want to go from, you know, from start to wherever you want to be.
Well, when me and my girlfriend first got together, I remember we sort of entertained the idea of maybe working together because she's really smart. She's more like, that lack of better way to explain it, she's better with numbers and she's better with more technical stuff. And even writing, she's way more creative. So about a month and a half ago, she comes to me and she goes, "Hey, I've been thinking about it." And at this point, she'd been trying out doing copywriting online, and she actually got some jobs done, and she got paid money, and she liked it. And she's a great writer, so she's just really stoked on it. And then she came at me and she was like, "Hey, what do you think about the idea of starting a marketing firm? You design, and I'll do copywriting, and I'll manage social media," which kind of goes hand in hand. And I was like, hell yeah, because I need this. I need a partner, because honestly, by myself, I mean, I can get work done, but with somebody there, like on the same team, and we're both not competing, but we're both working towards the same goal. It's like my perfect, the most perfect situation I could be in. So I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And then the first thing I did was like, okay, we got to think of a name, got to think of a logo, and got all that done in a week. And then since then, we've been doing the more boring stuff, and that's writing a business plan. We've been working out the numbers. We've been working out pricing. We've been working out what kind of services we want to do.
There you go.
And you know, what kind of businesses we want to go after, and what type of clients we want, and what type of clients we don't want, and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of turned into this marketing firm.
That's awesome.
And we're planning on getting the business and making it all official by the end of this month. Beautiful. And I'm going to be leaving my full-time job, and
that's awesome,
I'm going to be going after it because, I mean, she showed me the numbers, and she was doing conservative estimates, and it was like, it was blowing my mind how much money we would have made, like how much money we can make.
Yeah.
So it's Cambrian Marketing. And Cambrian Marketing. And the idea, I like the idea of, the Cambrian era in evolution. That's when everything exploded. So we're kind of playing off like,
dude,
hey,
awesome.
let's let your business evolve. Like the look of your business, change and enhance it. And we want to go at it like with like a boutique kind of mindset. Like we're not just going to try and get any job in and crank stuff out. We want to be a firm that takes time, puts a lot of thought into our jobs, and have clients that we really care about and clients that we want to build relationships with and really get their what they're all about. So and we want to build that with them. So everything it's crazy how everything's kind of coming together and it's looking really good.
That's awesome.
And
man.
I don't think I could have ever done it by myself. So glad my girlfriend decided to work with me.
That's a plug right there.
That's a risk.
Dude, that's awesome. Like,
yeah,
it's good that you have a good solid foundation with Michaela to I think about this a lot for my business. It's like I do a lot of it on my own, and I know that if I had a partner, it would definitely. If I had a partner like a year ago or whatever like that, it probably would have been a lot more successful. And because I've been working on Canvas for how long? And it's good that as a startup, you're already putting into motion things to quit your day job. It's like I still have a day job because it's good to have a blanket. I'm still learning a lot about because with doing graphic design, we're still in need to learn Google AdWords and some basic marketing skills.
That's the stuff like I know I've tried to learn, but I just have an aversion to it. It's not really my thing. Good thing is my girlfriend loves that stuff.
There you go.
She wants to get into it, so it works out perfectly.
That's the stuff I'm currently learning right now. I have to. And I'm not interested in it whatsoever, but I have to. But
so what was I gonna say? We're already working on stuff, and it's also good to have her because she's not the type. I mean, before, it's funny because before, whenever I do design jobs and I'd show them to her, she's like, oh my gosh, that looks so great. Now that we're working together, I show her something, she's like, I don't like that. I think you need to put more work into it. I think, I think we can do better. I'm like, oh my God. And then I was kind of irritated at first, but then after a while, I kind of thought about it and I realized, man, like she really wants it to be successful and good. And she's she's pushing me. And I appreciate that. So I'm all for it.
Haley doesn't necessarily, she doesn't work with me. But when we first started dating, she was always like, oh, that looks so good, like blah, blah, blah. Now that she's like, our relationship is way farther on, she's more like discreet, like, you need to change that. And then, my ex would do the same thing, but she was a lot more harder on that, though. She would always tell me, like, that looks like shit.
There's a way to do it.
There's a way to
criticize.
But Haley's very good about it because she's also an artist, that she, like, she'll be, I think the snout's a little too big. I'm working on a fox right now. Worked on way too many foxes, but she's definitely like putting me in the right direction to where the fox that the client chose was Haley's favorite, and she told me that was the one that she thinks that would be the best, and the client liked that sketch the most. So I was like, there we go. So, but so anything else to plug at the end of closing in?
We have social media and all that stuff. If you want to check it out, just go to Cambrian-marketing.com. Website's not even completely built yet, but you can still find all of our socials there. We don't have any followers. We haven't even shared anything yet.
Gotcha.
So if I get followers through this, that'd be sweet. I would know. Because they watched the video.
There you go. There we go.
Other than that, just keep a lookout, I guess.
There you go. If you have like anything, if you need examples, like social media wise, what you guys want to look at, check out Purveyor House. Shannon LaBar, like she kills it. Absolutely, Shannon kills it when it comes to like branding.
I follow them. I see a lot of their stuff. Also,
she's great.
There are a lot of good graphic designers in town, man.
I didn't know that.
It's like Purveyor House, and there's Willis and Williams. There's there's plenty.
Yeah, totally. There's a great artist named Rabbit Foods also. You're on the podcast now, so, but yeah, there's a lot of great artists here in town. Yeah, come and be in it. There's a lot of great artists here in town.
Yeah.
Especially Gabby. She's in the podcast now.
No.
But follow her, Rabbit Foods. But yeah, no, if you're watching the video and you want to be on the podcast, just let me know. I'm trying to have artists, graphic designers, all those stuff. So anyway, this has been Brad Gentry. Blank Canvas, the name. If you have a better idea of what the name of this podcast is, I'm doing a giveaway. All you have to do to win a shirt and some goodies, I might throw 2 shirts in, whatever. But I'm doing a giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment down below what the name of the podcast should be, or the video podcast, the show. Do that. Follow Brad on Instagram. Is it Bradley Gentry?
It's Bradley T. Gentry.
Bradley T. Gentry. And as always, Canvas Cam, follow me on Instagram, Canvas Design Company. Like I said, there's a giveaway. It's awesome. Thanks for being on the video podcast. Blank Canvas, Brad.
Hell yeah.
All right. Hey guys, that was the end of the podcast with Brad Gentry. Thanks for being on the show and all that stuff. Like I said at the end, just like and subscribe. You could be entered in the giveaway. Comment below what you think the podcast name, your video podcast name should be. If you like, subscribe, and do that, you'll be entered in the giveaway and all that stuff. So Brad, again, thanks for being on the show. We're just here at Dagny's Coffee Company. Thanks for letting us do this here and all that stuff. So thanks, guys.